So I guess we're going to talk today about what has become a very uncomfortable subject, and that's race and our lives and the part race and racism plays in our lives. And you and I have an advantage, I think, in that we have lived a while. I'm not going to call us old, but we've lived a while.
We have lived a while, and our lives are so unique, but yet so much the same. When I think about the fact that I went to college 5 miles from where you grew up, and the likelihood that we would ever meet during the 60s was zero. And now here we are, members of the same covenant group for 12 years.
That's right.
And
That's right.
friends and more than friends,
Right.
almost family.
And I think a lot of younger people don't really understand what the world was like for us in the 50s and the 60s, and that even though we were from the same area, from the same time, we really lived in two different worlds. Because in my world, the high school I went to was completely white.
And the high school that I went to was completely black. In fact, I keep my high school diploma on my wall because it states that I graduated from an approved Negro institution, and it is signed by both the state superintendent of schools and the Negro superintendent of schools.
Wow, I
So,
didn't know that.
It's a constant reminder
Yeah.
of how life evolves and how far we have come.
Yeah, 'cause I can remember as a boy, I was just a little kid in Shreveport going to out to shop with my mom down to Weingarten's, which was a local grocery store, and I can remember the trolleys in Shreveport had this line, right?
That's right.
And all the black people got on the trolley in Shreveport had to go sit behind that
That's
line.
right, behind the line. And I remember my memories of shopping with my mother include drinking water, going to the bathroom before you leave home to spare us the indignities of having to use the colored restroom.
Gosh.
So that was indeed a different time. But it was also a time where your place was important. And we grew up knowing our place, knowing the boundaries that separated us from people like you. You know, we didn't live in the same communities. We didn't go to church in the same communities, nor did we go to school.
Well, my generation, growing up white in the Deep South, we didn't really think about place except to know that our place was certainly higher than your place. And the amazing thing looking back on it is I'm not aware that anybody felt it, any of my kin or friends, that anybody felt any shame over it. And I look back and I wonder, well, how the heck could that be?
Well, because that's the way it was. And it was just generally accepted as a way of life. I think that one of our challenges today is to go back to those things that opened our eyes to the world.
Right.
And begin to look anew at opportunities to bring people together. And what does that look like? It's not just coming together to talk to each other or to express our views about race or reconciliation or politics or culture or whatever. It really is going to require, I believe, a different way of listening, not just with our ears, but listening with our hearts. I think that one of the things that helped me through my early years of integrating into society was the fact that my heart was open to receive people and to hear their stories We all have a story. That is history. You
Right.
know?
Or her story.
Or her story. and the fact that we listen, respect, honor each other's story, that's important to our growth. And I think that it will help us to gain greater insight, even empathy, and probably a better understanding of how race has impacted society.
I find myself a lot of the time going to try to talk to people about the fact that in Christ Jesus we are all one, and we actually need to live that out. We not just need to lip service to it or talk about it on Sundays,
Right.
but that our challenge is to actually live that out in big ways, in small ways, interpersonally, community, church to church. We are, all of us who know Christ, we are all one, and we are all actually brothers and sisters.
sisters,
But
right.
when you grew up in your church, did y'all call each other brothers
Brothers
and
and sisters, of
See,
course.
I grew up Episcopalian. We did not do that.
Yes.
But now looking back, I realize there's real value in that if it is sincere, because it would be constantly ingraining in a person your family.
Your family. That's right.
And it should transcend race, right?
And we're all part of the Christian family.
Yes, we're part of the Christian family, and we're all one in Christ Jesus. Gosh, Carolyn, we just have to help people and ourselves just live that out in genuineness every day.
I think that this year, both because of the circumstances that we find ourselves in, at home, more idle time, it creates an opportunity for us to reflect upon our stories. And I think that that will help us to be more understanding of other people and their stories.
You know, maybe coming out of COVID will be a fresh start, in the sense that everybody's going to be so ready to see everybody else that maybe we can somehow make it be not the resumption of the way things were last February, but a renewal into something that is better than it
Embracing
was.
a new reality, one based in the oneness of Jesus Christ.
That's exactly it. Well, Carolyn, I guess in closing, I just want you to know how much I cherish your friendship. I cherish your willingness to step out there. I appreciate, the church has so appreciated your leadership over the years. And I am just grateful that our story is not over. Our story has a long way to play yet.
And it is a wonderful story of how we began in separate places but yet so close.
Yeah.
And how we are now in a very different time but still very close, and continuing our stories together.
There we go.
Brothers and sisters,
I love you.
love you.